beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to me, my name is Lauren, and I'm healing my chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue energetically by healing emotional wounds from my past and all the emotional toxicity that comes from living a life with emotional wounds from your childhood. And this is so common. This is everyone. Everybody has emotional wounds from their childhood. Everybody. Unless you've done the work, you've gone back to heal the wounds, you have them. They're in your body because we were not taught how to move energy through us, how to heal these old wounds, unless you go to therapy, unless you go to extensive therapy, and unless you go to a really good therapist that is really good at trauma healing or does somatic therapy that can move it out of your body. Chances are you still have some in there. But what happens for some of us who develop adrenal fatigue and chronic fatigue, those wounds do so much distortion to our energy field that it bogs us down, weighs us down to the point that we get extreme fatigue. And with adrenal fatigue, there's a big fear component involved. There's fear in both. There's fear in most wounds. The limiting beliefs that come from the wounds that we have as children usually have an element of fear. But for adrenal fatigue, it happens when you're in this chronic state of fight or flight that wears down your adrenals. It's a component in chronic fatigue as well. But I believe that the people who develop chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue from these emotional wounds, no matter how big or small the original wound in your childhood was, or the triggers that happened in your childhood, however big they were, they can still grow and manifest into a giant toll on your energy system. My theory, and based on my experience, is that this happens primarily to highly sensitive people and empaths. And my understanding is, people define them differently, but my understanding is that the difference between those people, both are highly sensitive people. But the difference is that highly sensitive people are able to perceive a lot of, all the energy around them that's happening, but it doesn't embed in their energy field. It does not get absorbed and taken in to become part of theirs. Whereas empaths can sense the energies around them to such a high degree, but they actually come in. Our energy fields are very flowy and porous, and energy comes in. And if we have stagnant energy in our energy field from past wounds, it can get stuck in us. So empaths tend to absorb other people's energy, take on other people's energy. And because most empaths never are taught how to move energy through their system, what happens is when we're around negative energies in people or environments or anything else, we take it on, and then we slowly start to become that energy, feel that energy, that becomes our energy, and we walk away and we don't even realize that we had just taken on somebody else's or something else's energy, and now we feel horrible. We either feel horrible moods, we feel horrible in our body, we have aches, pains. We don't know what just happened, and we blame it on ourselves. That's my understanding of the difference between highly sensitive people and empaths, is that they both can perceive, they are highly sensitive to their environment and the energies around. My understanding is empaths tend to be more sensitive, but on top of that, highly sensitive people have the ability to hold on to their own energy, whereas empaths absorb and merge with the energies around them until we're taught otherwise. Okay, so in today's video, I want to talk about the empaths among us. So if you're an empath, stay tuned. And if you're not an empath, maybe you know an empath, and this would be helpful. And this is a hot topic right now, this idea of boundaries, setting boundaries. And when you want to heal, learning how to set boundaries is very important, because one of the reasons we're so fatigued is because we're taking on all this negative energy and it's getting stuck, it's staying in our bodies. And so very popularized. I'm sure you've seen things about boundaries, how to set boundaries, and there's a lot more information for empaths than there used to be. It's like it's almost like a trend. It's exciting because that means there's a lot more information for us, and we're being spoken to as empaths, which is really wonderful and helpful, and there's so many more resources for us. But what is mostly out there is this idea of creating boundaries around you to keep that energy out. And this has never worked for me. I don't know about you, but this has never worked. And I believe that it's because it's coming from a fear-based orientation. We're being told once again that we are vulnerable to other energies and that we need to block, protect, defend against these other energies and make our defenses really strong. Make our boundaries really strong, like make our aura field opaque, like it just can't, nothing impenetrable, nothing can get in. And there are lots of visualizations that are suggested about how to make a strong boundary around your energy field so that you don't take this energy on. Again, I don't know what your experience is, because I'm sure if you're an empath and you've identified yourself as one, you have probably heard about boundaries, people talking about boundaries and setting boundaries, and even the term setting boundaries, I imagine somebody going like this. It's like, I'm tough and I'm setting a boundary. You can't go, you cannot cross this boundary. It has a very different energy than what is natural to empaths. And that's what I think, because part of the reason that this happens, we take on other people's energies, is because that's what comes naturally to us. We naturally want to help people, when we see a need, we want to reach out, we want to give. And when we're children, we learn that this is so easy for us to shut down our own needs, our own wants, our own energy fields, and go to the other person, usually our caregivers or our family, and merge with their energy, and then they end up unconsciously enjoying you more. And so the message we get is, oh, if I do that, I get more love. And it's so easy for me to do that you just learn that's how you live in the world. That's what you do. And it's such an amazing gift that we have. But what happens is, as we go through life like this, having learned that everything is more beneficial, we get more love and safety when we are this way, and we just merge with other people's energy. That's just the default, and we do it all the time. Then when we get sick, because we will get sick when you're not holding on to your own energy, and there's so much negative energy out there, there's so much bombarding us, we're going to get sick. We're going to have mental illness or physical illness eventually. And a lot of empaths end up, sort of cloistering themselves away from the rest of the world, because it's like too harsh. It's too harsh because we're taking on the energy of everything else. But it's not our fault. We just learned that was the best way to get love and safety when we were kids. Again, there's so much negative energy in the world. If we were surrounded by positive energy in the world, it would not have such a negative impact. But we're surrounded, there's a lot of negative energy. But even so, I actually don't know what would happen. Would we get sick? Probably not as fast. We still need to learn how to hold on to our own energy and create our own energy field that is strong. And that's sort of part of the nuanced difference of what I'm getting at. Because I don't think this idea of making defenses, putting up boundaries. So now I've absorbed everybody's all my life and been victim to them. And now it's time to be tough and put up tough boundaries. And here's my boundary, and don't you cross it. And if you cross it, then you're doing to me, and I have to get angry to get back, to push back. It doesn't work for empaths. Empaths have a fluid energy field, and it needs to be that way to be healthy. So what's the answer? So what's the answer? If we naturally have like a flowing energy, and yet allowing energy in is harming us, then what do we do? Well, I'll tell you. The problem isn't that the energy is coming in. I have not heard anybody else talk about this, but I truly believe it, and this is with my experience and my own healing. But I hope there are other people talking about it, because I'm just a small little pea in the mountain of YouTube. So I hope there are other people talking about it. But so here, I believe the problem is not that energy is coming into our energy field. The problem is when empaths have tangles in our energy field, our ability to flow our own energy, those negative energies that come in get stuck. So imagine, and you're probably aware of the biofield, because it's like becoming so much more widespread knowledge, which is amazing. It's so exciting. So your biofield goes out a few feet from you, and energy flows down from your higher self, from the universe, down into your body, flows through your body, down into the ground, comes back up out of the ground, and into your biofield. It's circulating throughout this whole system. This is how energy flows. It's like, and I've started thinking about it like a battery, and I will talk in another video about that. But you imagine energy is flowing, and especially for an empath, energy is flowing freely, and we have very large energy fields. When an empath has healed, a healed empath has a very large heart energy field, and this can be measured. This is, I mean, it's amazing. And so we have this big energy field once we've healed. But when we have a lot of wounds that are in our body, but also in our energy field, the energy gets distorted as it's going through. So it's coming in and it's flow, but when it comes in, it slows down, it gets distorted, and it's going through your chakras, and it's going through your biofield and your aura. When we have distortions in our chakras, when we have wounds in our chakras, we get distortions in the flow of energy. And the same is true for the biofield. So I picture them, and other people have talked about this. This is not my own idea. I learned this originally from a woman who specializes in sound therapy, and she actually can find the tangles in your aura and move them with a tuning fork back into your energy centers, your chakras, which is incredible. This blew my mind when I first learned about it. The problem is, if you do it that way, you're moving this energy, you have to keep doing it, because you still have the wounds in your psyche and in your body. And so it helps you to move your energy, to flow it, to untangle that tangle that was in your energy field, to have it moving again. But it's temporary. You have to keep going back and having these tuning fork sessions over and over again. But if you heal the original wound that created that tangle of energy, that's when permanent healing happens. So I like thinking of them as like a tangle. I imagine it almost like, so the energy is flowing, and so, I mean, if you were to draw it, it would be lines. And so if you just imagine a line, the line is like a tangled mess. It's like a rat's nest, like a tangle in your hair, like a tangled necklace or a tangled ball of string. Whereas these lines are supposed to, ideally, in order to have free-flowing energy, and you have chronic fatigue or adrenal fatigue, that's what you're looking for. You want free-flowing energy that you can access, and when it's all directed and humming in, and it's centered in your center, in your chakras, that's what you want. And these lines in your biofield are clear, because that's when you have the most abundant energy, the most emotional freedom, the most joy and feelings of abundance, and the wonderful feelings that we want, those higher vibrational feelings we feel when this energy system is clear. Another thing is, so the sound therapy woman that I learned from discovered that if you're at your biofield, your aura is almost like tree rings. And I believe, if I remember correctly, the farther away ones are the beginning of your life and your past lives and ancestral stuff. And then as you move closer, it's closer to the year you're living now. So you might have tangles out in the edge of your energy field from when you were 0, when you were 3, whatever it was. When you have trauma, when you have wounding, they get these tangles, and as you live a life with these wounds, you create all these limiting beliefs, and your life affirms those limiting beliefs, and those tangles can get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so what's happening is energy getting more and more distorted as you're living your life. That's why eventually you get sick, because the energy gets actually stuck outside of your body in the energy field. In your energy field, not in your chakras where you can access it for physical energy. We want it in our chakras, but when it's being distorted in your chakras and outside of your aura, you can't access it. It gets less and less and less accessible for our physical energy. So my theory is that for empaths, when energy is coming in, we are so absorbable. We so easily absorb external energy into our own. When it comes in and it's flowing through us, it gets caught in these tangles. And so when you're in an environment for a prolonged period of time, when you're feeling all these negative energies, and you have tangles, you have old wounds that you haven't healed yet, and they're in your energetic system, the negative energies are getting stuck in those tangles, getting caught in them, because like attracts like, and those tangles are negative energy. And so it gets caught in there, and it eventually bogs your energy system down. It's like it starts to slow and get more sluggish. And then what do you feel? How many times have you experienced this if you're an empath? You're in an environment and there's a lot of negative energy, and you feel exhausted by the time you leave, or before you leave. You feel exhausted. You are depleted. You feel like your energy has been sucked out of you. Well, what's happened this is the way I conceptualize it, is that your energy is stuck outside of you. Your energy is caught out in these tangles, and you can't access it anymore, and you are just sucked dry, it feels like. And you need time, lots and lots of time, of healing time, soothing time for yourself alone, to dissipate that energy and get it out of that tangle, release that energy from the tangle, and fill yourself back up with your own positive energy, or whatever, whatever feeds you in your life. This is such a big deal for empaths. This is such a big deal, because the answer, I believe, is not in creating external boundaries. Get away from me. Don't touch that. Don't come in here. To me, it's about healing those wounds. When we can heal the wounds, the tangles get straightened out. The tangles start to untangle. And the less tangled energy we have in our energy field, the more free-flowing our energy will be. So when we heal these tangles, these major tangles that are from the beginning of our life especially, but all old wounds that we haven't looked at yet and loved and accepted in and had gratitude for, as long as they're in there, the negative energy, this is for empaths, the negative energy that we feel in our environment will always bog us down. But when we untangle those energies, what happens is the energy can flow through us and out of us. And that's when we can learn how to create, Well, it happens naturally. When you heal these wounds, it happens naturally that you develop this strong biofield. It's not about creating, and visualizing. You can visualizing a strong energy field. It happens when you strengthen your chakras by healing the old wounds and doing chakra work, doing body work, doing self-love, self-acceptance, doing all the work that it takes to heal each chakra, and by first healing the energetic wounds, which are emotional wounds. I so believe this is true. I believe that we have to heal. Whenever you're talking about healing, spiritual healing, physical healing, I so adamantly believe that one of the first things, or just one of the basic things that you have to look at, if there's any kind of physical or mental issue in the mix, is what are the wounds? And can we begin to heal those wounds? Because as long as they're there, they're sucking from you. They're pulling energy out of you. And when you're trying to heal your body, you want your body to have the most energy it can have, because healing takes a lot of energy. Our bodies do it naturally, as long as it has energy. It has to have the energy. And we are energetic beings before biological beings and chemical beings. So let's fix the energetic body first. And I've just been amazed. It's remarkable. I have not had to do any other healing with supplements and protocols or anything else. I have only done energy healing. And I'm not talking about these things that you do, and they're amazing practices that shift your energy, or your energetic body temporarily, like cleansing practices and visualizations. There are different ways that you can move your energy, but they're all temporary. Those never had an impact for me. I don't know about you. They never had enough of an impact for me to hold on to them. When I'm talking about energetic healing, I'm talking about emotional wound healing, old wound healing. Because of this phenomenon, because of this idea that when we have negative energy tangles, when we have pain about who we are, when we have shame, when we have fear, when we have lack of safety, when we don't feel safe in the world, when we feel unworthy, when we feel unvaluable, when we feel uninteresting and not lovable, all of these things, all of these beliefs are energetic, black, dark tangles in our system that need to be unraveled. And that's what this process is what I'm talking about on this channel. But to start conceptualizing this is so important for empaths, I think. That's just my opinion. This has worked for me. This is what's working for me, since the boundary thing has never worked. What works for me is that I find my energy field is massively stronger. I don't have to work at it. I don't have to work at creating boundaries, because my energy field is just naturally getting stronger and stronger as I heal the old wounds. Now, I'm not discounting boundary setting work in your daily life, because that, of course, you have to do this, because if we never learned how to do it, we have to learn how to do it. But it's more of conscious work. It's more becoming conscious of the fact that, why am I feeling like this? Why am I angry at this person? Why am I irritated? Why am I triggered right now? They crossed a boundary because we let them. People do what we allow them to, and I've always hated that, but I hate to admit that it's true. And I'm really learning this. I'm learning, but boundaries for me is more of it's a navigation. It's where do I want to put my flag? Where do I want to stop and begin? How much of their energy and how much of my energy get to go in this conversation? And how much, it's more of a play thing that I get to learn in daily life. It's not about, for me, it's not, and maybe I've misunderstood other people's ideas, but to me, that visualizing that hard exterior center, and different people have different ways of thinking about it. Some people have ways of imagining your own aura like pushing out. And that's kind of nice thought. Or I've heard before, like, imagine yourself as a burning flame, a giant burning flame. The problem is when we have these wounds in our lower three chakras, we can't emanate that energy effectively. And so actually creating those visualizations becomes exhausting. It's exhausting to imagine yourself as a burning flame all the time, incinerating energy coming at you, or imagining yourself with this strong energy field pushing out in the world. When your chakras are weak, when your aura is weak or distorted. And so I believe, my theory, what has worked for me is strengthening the energy field by healing the wounds. And then it just strengthens naturally. Your heart gets a little more open with everything that you heal. You don't have to do a lot of conscious work. And focusing on heart energy is amazing work. But for me, I feel like the first step is to focus on those bottom three chakras. Yes, inputting as much love as I can into those bottom three chakras and the wounds that are there. But what happens to so many of us as empaths is that our heart energy had to shut off, because having this negative energy like coming into us and then getting stuck, everything was painful, everything hurt, everything was wounding. And so to protect ourselves, we shut off our heart energy. And so trying to push love onto ourselves, trying to love our wounds away is really difficult. Because our love energy has been blocked for this reason. Because we have all these wounds. We don't feel safe in the world. We don't feel like loved unconditionally. And we haven't learned how to create that for ourselves, again, because we have all this pain. I don't believe that we can create true self-love until we heal those wounds. It's not possible. You can tell yourself that you love yourself, you accept yourself, you forgive yourself, all these things all day until you're blue in the face. I am love. I am abundance. It's never going to go. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. It might help. It might. But for me, it's made such a tiny difference. I can't advocate much for it. Of course, it's helpful. And of course, you want to say loving things, getting to the practice of changing your thoughts from negative to positive. And that is a huge deal. It's a huge feat, and it's so important. But that's just a piece. That's to help the process along of healing the lower chakra wounds. That's what's going to help you heal them. It's the cultivating a learning of how to hold space, how to allow these lower vibrational pain points to be, to feel these pains, to feel shame and feel fear and all these things that are really difficult to feel, how to hold space for them and still believe that you will get through this, and telling your inner child that you are safe and you are loved and that you are there for them, and we will get through this, and we have to feel this, and we are adults, we have adult capacities, we have adult resources, we can feel this, it's safe to feel this, I'm here with you. Cultivating that kind of a practice is so important for healing those lower chakra wounds. So in order to expand our heart energy, our bodies and our minds and our inner child has to feel safe. Our heart energy is never going to open it just by doing heart opening things. If our inner child does not feel safe, it's never going to open. And the heart is this core part of the energy field. It's what makes your energy field go out as far as it does. And when we want a strong energy field, we need a strong heart energy. And in order to have strong heart energy, we need to feel safe and loved. And they're one and the same in our lower chakras. So to circle back around, I believe that the way, instead of creating a hard boundary for empaths, our energy systems are naturally flowing in and out, and it's our job to learn how to have energy move through and out of us. And in order to do that in a fluid way that doesn't bog us down and exhaust us, we need to heal the wounds, the tangles in our aura, in our energy field, so that energy can move freely and abundantly through us. And so when negative energies come through us, we can feel them, we can make space for them, and we can allow them to leave because they don't get stuck in those wounds, those wound points, those negative energy tangles. So this is my theory, but this has been, I feel like I've proven it true in my own life. So I hope that's helpful for you. I hope you gain some insight and some benefit from that information. If you do, I would love it if you would like, subscribe, share this video online, do whatever you want to do, and come back and see me watch more of my videos. I'd love to see you back, and thank you for watching. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!